Hi Dave.
Hi.
Can you introduce yourself?
Sure, Dave Cox, the studio head at Konami Digital Entertainment and producer of the Castlevania Lords of Shadow series. Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was about portraying a very powerful character. Gabriel, has embraced his evil side and he's moved forward as a character. But one of the things we wanted to do was not portray Dracula like, Bela Lugosi, kind of very sort of straight villain. We wanted a very kind of nuanced character, a character that could forgive, a character that could cry, a character that could show love, but at the same time do really evil and horrible things. I use the analogy of Tony Soprano. You watch Tony Soprano and he's a murderer, he's a killer, but when you watch those episodes, you kind of root for him. He's like, you want him to do well, don't you? And it's kind of like that kind of moral question inside of you. We wanted players to have that moral question when they played as Dracula. So this is a different Dracula that we haven't seen in Castlevania before. It's a much more nuanced character, and I think when you're playing a game for 20 hours, you need to be able to identify with the character. What you don't want is just unrelentless violence, unrelentless killing, and just anger and rage. You don't need that. You need to have a character that you can believe in and that you can identify with, and that's what we've tried to do with Dracula. I find it a little bit annoying, honestly speaking, because I do get the comparisons because both games exist in the hack and slash genre, but I think our Castlevania game is much more of an adventure game. It's got a lot more to it than God of War. I'm not knocking God of War because I think it's a fantastic game, but I see our game more comparison to Zelda or Darksiders or something like that, because it's got much more of an adventure element to it. It's very heavily story driven. There's a lot more exploration. It's more of a world we've created than we're constantly in God of War. You're constantly moving forward and you're constantly getting a really cool spectacle every step of the way, and you don't really have to think about the combat too hard. It's about moving forward. With our game, it's a bit more of a thinking man's hack and slash. It's more strategic. It's more take your time. It's more figure out what you need to do against the enemies and that kind of stuff. So in that way, I'd say they're very different. I think really we've made the changes that we wanted to make from the first one. We were a bit disappointed. I'd say disappointed, but we felt that the linearity of the game was a strong point, but also a weakness in that it took you out of the world. Every time it loaded and you have Zobek doing the narration, it kind of took you away from the adventure. So that was something we wanted to address in the second one. So we've done that. We felt the fixed camera had been a bit constrictive. A lot of people wanted to explore the world, but they couldn't because the camera was stuck there. So fixing that, I think, is a massive improvement, and just having a world rather than level by level, having a real world to explore. Those are things we wanted to change in the first one. We've done it in the second one. So in the second one, I don't think there's very much I would want to change. Maybe difficulty is quite tough. Some of the boss fights are really challenging, and I constantly argued with Enric about whether it was too tough or. But in the end, we thought, well, we've got an easy difficulty setting, so let's make the normal mode challenging, and if people can't do it, they can go to the easy setting. But maybe maybe it's too hard. I don't know. I certainly think Lords of Shadow will, be remembered, and I think it will be remembered fondly. I think people will look back on it and say, you know what, maybe I didn't agree with everything they did, but they really did make Castlevania big again. They really took it back to the mainstream, and that's what we set out to do in the first place, was to make it mainstream again. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of the fact that people are talking about Castlevania, that it's on websites, and our games sell very well, and I'm very proud that the first game was very successful. I hope the second one will be successful. I'm quite happy to leave it behind. Maybe I'll come back in the future, I don't know, but I think for now, after 7 years of working on Castlevania Lords of Shadow, I'm ready for a break and I'm ready for something new. So,
thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. Yeah, cool. Thanks a lot.